Hello there, and welcome back to another video. So I want to apologize in advance if I get a little bit charged or heated or enraged through the process of this video, or this voiceover, let's say. But so I wanted to just talk about a little bit of a topic that I'm sure many of you listening have also suffered and experienced, and it connects to this illustration, I promise. But really quick, let's get into what this illustration is. I feel like this is a trend going on where I'm going to talk about something nothing to do with what I'm drawing, but sort of connected. There's a connection. Let me tell you the connection, then I'll tell you the thing. So I was drawing this, and then this thing that I'm about to talk about happened, which is why at the beginning of this video, this sketch was like 90% done. And I usually don't like doing that. I like starting my videos with like a blank canvas or like a little teaser and then blank, like from scratch, from where I start, because that I found that helpful when I didn't know, or when I'm stuck on something. I find it helpful just to see from a page of nothing something come out. So I like doing that in my videos, and I was starting this illustration, recording it just for the sake of recording it, just to like hope that I could turn it into a video. And like the subject is Yami Yugi, or Atem, I think it was revealed his name was. So it's the spirit that lives inside of the Millennium Puzzle from the original Yu-Gi-Oh anime and manga. So I drew him just because I was talking about Yu-Gi-Oh with someone, or I watched a video about Yu-Gi-Oh. There's something, or I read a fanfic, something rather reminded me of Yu-Gi-Oh, and I was like, oh, I should draw this character. And I was reading up on his Wikipedia page, and on the Wikipedia page it said that the spirit inside of the puzzle was significantly taller and more muscular than actual Yugi, and the fact that there's a distinction on the Wikipedia page that Yami was more muscular than Yugi just kind of made my brain go, ha. But so anyway, I started doing this drawing on my iPad. I have an iPad Pro, and I was drawing it on Art Studio Pro, and I set the thing to record to capture like my screen. And then all of a sudden, like, it wasn't recording. And this has happened to me like 4 times already, and like I made sure, like I double checked like 5 minutes into sketching that it was still recording, and it was. And then all of a sudden, when I was like ready to put it down for a bit, and I wanted to cancel the recording so it would save to my camera roll, and then I could like go make some tea or something, and then like come back to it, it wasn't recording anymore. And the thing that happens when like it just suddenly stops recording is not that it stops and then it saves what it already had recorded, and then like you lose some footage in the middle. It just acts as if you never started recording in the first place. So then cue rage, and like literally rage quit, and then I didn't draw anything for like 3 days because I was just like upset at my iPad. And it like seems like a bit of an overreaction maybe, and I get that. I get that being a little bit more dramatic than I typically would be. But this is like the 4th time this has happened, and there's another video coming. It's coming at some point. It's like a collaboration with someone, that's all I'm going to say. But I started it on my iPad, and I like double checked a gazillion times that it was still recording, and then it like stopped recording a gazillion times, and I was like, alright, like this is like more elaborate sort of thing. It's not just a like single illustration, so I can deal with the first bit missing, or I can deal with up until this point missing, and then eventually I found out like it's completely missing, like none of it recorded. So I was like, alright, I'm just not going to draw on the iPad for a bit. But then I did something else. Like if you remember a couple weeks ago, I did Draw This Again, so an illustration that I did in 2013, then 2014, and then now. I recorded the first bit of that one on the iPad, and it was fine. So then why did it have trouble with the other thing I tried to record, and then this thing that I tried to record, and I was just like, argh! So in general, I wanted to talk, I know I'm getting really heated, I'm sorry, but it might be entertaining to some people, let me know. But I wanted to talk about this thing called technical difficulties that a lot of people who do things with computers, whether it's drawing, it's music, it's filming, video editing, any of that sort of thing, people who do this kind of thing, they experience this thing called technical difficulties a lot. And the thing that I typically experience most often is I forgot to save, and then Photoshop crashed, or my computer crashed, or the power went out. And the power doesn't go out that often in Canada, but in Brazil, every time we had a thunderstorm, the power went out, at least for a little bit. So I lost a lot of hours of work to power outages quite often. But then that just kind of, like, there's a solution to that. Like, it's sort of your own fault for forgetting to save that you lost that much. But when it's stuff like the recording just glitched out on you, and the thing is that it doesn't happen on the computer, because on the computer I've like, it's happened for, there's this old video, not all that old actually, I think it was a Newt Scamander video, so it's like 2-3 years old, where I was recording and then Photoshop crashed. So I lost some of like my refined sketching or something or whatever, but the recording was still working. So I was able to grab a screenshot from the screen recording to trace over the screenshot so I didn't lose all my progress. So Photoshop crashed, but not the screen recording. So like, I just really didn't, I was really upset when this happened. Like, I was literally talking in the group chat, like, I'm actually upset at this, because like I was really happy with that sketch, and I started it off with like a larger brush size than I would usually do. I felt like it was like this whole painting thing is a little bit experimental compared to what I would usually do. I grabbed like a more grainy sort of fuzzy brush, not necessarily fuzzy, but it's got like some grain to it for the line art, and the shading is also like really different from what I would normally do, and like it was just like a very interesting sort of way to explore this character. And this is another one, like I'm thinking about starting a series of like fan art of shows from my childhood that I barely remember, but when I do remember them, I'm like, oh yeah, I should fan art that, because this definitely falls under that category. I think the other one was the one from Sugar Chara, and then I'm sure there's other videos on my channel that are just random fan art of something that I thought about that didn't really fit into anything that's like popular right now or that I've been consuming lately, but I just remembered it and like, oh, let's draw it. On my Instagram a couple of years ago, I got into a bit of a Sailor Moon phase, which was funny, which I would also classify under this kind of thing. But either way, it really upset me that my iPad failed to record this thing again, when it's had this problem before, and I thought I solved it, and now like I updated the iPad because maybe that's an issue, but I'm like too scared to try to record something on it again right now. Like I've got a little bit of like trust issues with it, and I'm gonna be using it to work on some client work a lot, but I'm not really planning on recording much of that. I might do a tour of it at some point, but I just feel like I've had issues with the iPad before where I just can't get a good workflow with it for painting, and then I've had issues now just screen recording, so it just might become like a sketching device in terms of drawing, because like it's super convenient for like reading fanfics or watching videos or looking stuff up, but in terms of illustration it might just turn into a sketching thing. I really don't know, because like it's inconvenient to get like in the zone, quote unquote, in the zone with. And if it fails at even video recording, then it can't even facilitate like my YouTube stuff. And like I've been like very proud of myself for consistently uploading weekly for, I think in a couple, maybe 2-3 weeks, it'll be officially a year of weekly posts, which it's kind of unbelievable, but like I've put in a lot of work to make that happen, despite like vacations and school and everything. Like I put in a lot of work to make weekly videos happen. But still, like if the iPad can't help, it's just like I can't deal with this emotional angst of the fact that it like let me down so often. Like I was really upset. Like I honestly like just drowned myself in Stardew Valley for like 2 whole days with very little sleep, just because I was so upset. But like this, I'm really happy with this illustration though, is the thing. Like there's got to be a point where, like, I get if you get like stumped on your artwork because you can't come up with ideas, or you're not able to like draw things the way you picture it, or whatever it is. But if it's like the material is causing you angst, and I think I've said this in a video before, I think it might have been my tips for developing artists, that if like you shouldn't, like the pencil doesn't make the artist, but if the pencil is like really like causing you more trouble, then you know, just switch pencils. And like I might have to take my own advice in this case and like not try to use my iPad for this, because it really did upset me. It takes a lot for me to get upset actually, and like to rage quit on stuff, and I don't know, it was just like it was an experience for sure. And I definitely thought that a lot of you could relate to this if you're anyone who does anything on a computer, which is everyone basically, even if it's just like a school work something or other that you couldn't save and then it crashed and then you lost it, or that you like thought you saved and then you closed the program and then you're like, yeah, whatever, or okay, quit, and then oh no, turns out you didn't save it. It's stuff like that. It's happened to all of us, and I feel like we all just like need to have a moment of solidarity for all the hours lost to just like things of that nature that just happens sometimes. But I don't know, like I'm really happy with the way that this painting turned out, and I was really happy to get into the mindset of Yugi, this anime, as well. I'm currently rewatching Hunter x Hunter because of the video I did last week, because I just had the craving for it. But after I'm done watching Hunter x Hunter, I might rewatch the original Yu-Gi-Oh series, and I want to actually find it in Japanese because apparently they censored a lot of stuff, and that totally makes sense to me now because I think it was the 4Kids company that dubbed it. So it definitely makes sense that there was a lot of censorship, but I'm very interested to see how it is in Japanese. Apparently the manga is also a lot more gruesome, which amuses me greatly. But that being said, I'm still salty that my iPad didn't capture the sketching. And it's not even like, because now I've gotten, like, I'm really happy with the way that this painting turned out and the recording and like the way it looks, and just like being able to show off this kind of different painting style. Like, it's definitely something I don't usually do. It's like cell shaded, but it's not like animation style cell shaded because it's got a textured brush. And then I also, for the skin, did like 5 different colors, and that doesn't usually happen. It's usually 2 or 3, but still, like, I'm really salty. Alright, motion blur on the Millennium Puzzle because it's like flying at you. And then a cast shadow from the string. Anyway, I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm just like, you can tell I'm tuckered out from my rant. And I don't want to like say that it's a rant. I'm not going to put that in the title or anything. I think this video is just called Technical Difficulties or something like that. But yeah, it was not happy days. It was definitely a struggle to just pick myself up after that. If you want to share any like horror stories in the comment sections of like times that your technology has failed you, I'd love to like just feel like I'm not all alone, because it was a real moment. And yeah, did you watch Yu-Gi-Oh as a kid? Did you ever play the card game, any of that stuff? What do you think of this illustration? Would you like to see any more illustrations in this sort of style? Just, yeah, let me know what you think of all those things in the comments. And I need some emotional support for my rage quit. But yeah, this is the finished illustration. I hope you enjoyed the video, even though I didn't have the first part of the sketching for you. And yeah, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all next week.